there, I want to make a gift bag today, and I'm doing my own because I don't have one the right size, and by doing it myself I can do some stamping and decorative things with it. I've taken a piece of brown wrapping paper, just plain old brown craft paper, and cut it into the size that I need, and here's how I calculated my size. I want a finished bag size of 6 inches by 4 inches on the bottom, and I want it to be 6 inches high. So how tall my bag is going to be is 6 inches, so I cut my paper 6 plus 3 for the bottom and 4 for the top, and I'll explain as I go how I got to those measurements. That means that the length of my paper is 13 inches long, and then width-wise, I need 6 by 4, so I need 2 6-inch widths and 2 4-inch widths. That's a total of 20 inches plus 1 more inch for turning and gluing. So that means that it's 21 inches wide. Right? So now I'm going to take my brown paper and I'm going to fold it for the top. I'm going to fold it up 4 inches, and this is the top, but I'm working from the bottom so I won't end up with my head in the way so much. So I have this on a gridded mat, so I can just go ahead and count 4 inches. You could use a ruler if you wanted to. And this is a gift bag. It's not, I'm not building a bookcase or anything, so precision is not going to be super important. I just want it, to look nice when it's finished. Take this and use my bone folder to finish that edge. And I've turned it up 4 inches. What I'm really doing is, it's like a 2-inch hem when you're sewing. So I turned it up 4 inches and then I folded it back and folded that in half, and that gives me a double 2-inch turn. So all I did was take the length that I needed the bag to be, and I added 4 inches for the top to give me that 2-inch top fold, and that'll give it a nice sturdy top to it. Now for the bottom, again, I've allowed 3 inches for the bottom, so that should give me 6 inches worth of bag left at the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 3 inches, so that looks good. So I just want to turn up 3 inches for the bottom. Make sure I have this even. Hopefully keeping my head out of the way as much as possible. There's my 3 inches, and you could apply these measurements to any size bag that you wanted. Now, then I know how much bag this is going to be the surface of my bag. There'll be an inch of it folded for turning, but this is where I could go ahead and do some stamping, or I could wait until I do the folds in it. I'm going to go ahead and do my stamping at this point. So I'm going to spread this back out a little bit so I don't have anything underneath the main part, and I have a couple of snowflake stamps, so we'll put some snowflake images on. Okay, I'm using some brown ink. These would of course look pretty in white, but white pigment ink takes quite a bit of time to dry, so I just want to do something kind of quick here, and this is going to be for a man. Oops, I let that fall a little bit, but it doesn't matter that some of them go off the edge. In fact, they look better if they go off the edge a little bit, but I still have an idea of where the main part of my design is. I'm going to do these in gray. As I was saying, this is going to be for a man, so I picked a little more masculine colors here, but you could do any colors that you wanted. The white pigment ink would take a little more time to dry, or you'd have to heat set it, so I just decided to do a few with colors that would dry easily, and these were Stampin' Up! Inks. Something like this, it's great to use some of your older discontinued inks and kind of work through some of those things if you want to get some of them out of your stash. Alright, now I'm back to what my bag is going to look like, and I'm ready to do my folds going across. Go ahead and fold. I remember I need a 6, a 4, a 6, a 4, and a 1. So I'm just going to go ahead and fold 6 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make sure I got that right. 4, 5, 6. There's my 6 inches. Okay. And then I'm going to need to do a 4-inch space. So again, I'm going to use the lines on my grid mat here to get 4 inches. You could measure. And then I'll need a 6-inch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inches. I think I'll just fold that one down this way. That'll be easier. And then I should have one more 4 and a 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And that leaves me with 1 inch to fold down for turning. So now what I have is a bag that has 2 6-inch sections, 2 4-inch sections, because that's the size that I wanted it to be, and then a 1-inch section. So I can just glue all this together. Now what I want to do is put this edge inside this one so it looks a little bit neater there. Okay. Okay. And then I'm going to use some liquid glue to hold this together. And you'll want to have some clips of some kind. I'm just using clothespins to hold. Now we haven't done anything much with the bottom yet, but we'll get to the bottom. I'm just adding some liquid glue in here. Okay. Make sure that's attached good. Glue in there without creating another crease. And I'm going to let that sit for a minute and then we'll be ready to do the bottom. Alright, how I got this 3 inches for the bottom is the depth of this bag is 4 inches. So I took 4 inches and I divided that in half to 2, and then I added 1 more inch for overlap. So you just take the depth of your bag, divide it in half, and then add an inch for overlap. And I'm going to cut at each of the corners up to where the fold is for the bottom. Just going to cut up to there. I think I got that one set quite far enough. Okay. Then what I'll do is fold down 2 sides. Actually, I'll fold these sides in, the short sides in. I think that'll look the best. And then fold this over. And I could glue it like this, but I think I want to trim a little bit of this off. I think it'll look better if I just trim a little bit of this off. It's kind of like doing an envelope. Okay. All right. And now I can add a little bit of glue to hold this in place. And what's helpful is once you get it glued is to have something to put inside to kind of keep some weight on it so the glue holds. So let me find my liquid glue again. Here it is. And I'm going to add quite a bit of liquid glue to this side. And what I want to do is turn it up on the inside and put some pressure down in there to hold it. And if you have something to put in there to add some weight, either the gift that you're giving, the gift I'm giving is food, so I'm not going to stick the food in there until I know the glue and everything is dry, but I can put something to add some weight like my paint brushes. That just happens to be what's handy. And let that glue dry and it'll hold it in place. Okay, I've taken the stuff out of the middle and now I have a very sturdy gift bag. I wouldn't put, super heavy things in here, but it will certainly hold what some food that I'm planning to put in there. I'm going to take my Crop-A-Dile, any kind of hole punch, and just punch a couple of holes on each side for my ribbon. You can see I'm not measuring, I'm just doing this kind of quickly. Okay. And taking some ribbon. Let's see, it would be easier to thread. I put the end through there. I guess one end through. Let me show you the other end. Let's see, I don't really need this to be so long, so go ahead and bring that down some. Okay. Alright, and we'll trim that down. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side of the bag. Okay, I've got these tied. You could tie the knots on the inside if you rather. I just kind of liked the rustic look of them on the outside. Alright, so now to finish off my gift bag, I'm going to take my greeting card that I had already made and just clip that with a binder clip to the front of my bag. And then I can put the gift in there, and I have a really neat gift bag that's just the size that I want and the decoration that I want on it for the recipient. So that's how you can make a gift bag pretty much any size. The measurements, again, you just figure out how wide and how deep you want your bag and how tall you want it. Use the height, add 4 inches for the top, and for the bottom you take the depth, divide that in half. So we would divide 4 in half. That would equal 2 inches, and add 1. And that's how you get this bottom measurement. Then for the width of the bag, you just take your sides and do your 4 sides and add 1 inch, and that's what your width will be. So I had a 13 by 21 inch piece that I started with, did my folds, and finished it up with this size bag. Anyway, thanks for joining me today, and all these measurements and explanation will be over on my blog.